The Galactic Defense Academy's training grounds hummed with the crackling energy of plasma. Weapons as cadets from 17 different species prepared for the annual combat trials. Sophia stood at the edge of the arena, her human frame dwarfed by the towering Crithian warriors and the crystalline Zephrons who seemed to shimmer in the artificial light. Instructor Vex, a battle-scarred veteran with forearms and scales that had turned silver with age, surveyed his students with barely concealed disdain. His third eye focused on Sophia with particular intensity. "Human," he hissed, the translator converting his clicks and whistles into standard galactic. "Your species petitioned for entry into the academy for 3 cycles. Now you stand here, and I wonder if you understand the mockery you've made of our traditions." Sophia met his gaze without flinching. She'd heard worse during her 6 months at the academy. Being the only human among 5,000 cadets had taught her patience, if nothing else. Vexter gestured to the weapons rack where advanced plasma rifles, ion disruptors, and molecular disassemblers gleamed with lethal promise. Then he reached beneath the platform and pulled out a simple wooden stick, roughly a meter long. Smoothed by age and handling, this, he announced to the assembled cadets, is what humans used for combat before they reached the stars. Primitive, laughable. He tossed it towards Sophia. It clattered at her feet. "Since your species insists on clinging to nostalgia, you will use this in today's trials." Laughter rippled through the crowd. Even Jake, her only friend at the academy, a young Meridian whose bioluminescent skin patterns usually expressed kindness, flickered with what she recognized as embarrassed sympathy. Sophia picked up the wooden stick, testing its weight and balance. Oak, if she wasn't mistaken. Someone had actually gone to the trouble of importing it from Earth. The irony wasn't lost on her. "Understood, instructor," she said simply. The trials began with standard combat scenarios. Cadets were matched against training drones equipped with non-lethal plasma weapons. One hit and you were eliminated. The drones adapted to each opponent's strategy. Learning and evolving with every engagement, Sophia watched as Crithian cadets with their armed advantage wielded dual plasma rifles. As Zephrons phased between solid and crystalline states to avoid detection, as Meridians used their bioelectric fields to short-circuit nearby drones. One by one, even the best fell to the adaptive AI. Then it was her turn. The arena fell silent as Sophia entered the combat zone with nothing but her wooden stick. The training drone hovered before her, its sensors analyzing her primitive weapon with what she imagined was mechanical confusion. The plasma bolt came faster than thought. Sophia moved 50,000 years of human evolution, of persistence hunting on African plains, of reflexes honed by predators and prey, compressed into a single motion. The stick blurred through the air and impossibly, the plasma bolt deflected at an angle, scorching the arena wall. The crowd's murmur turned to stunned silence. The drone recalibrated and fired. Again 3 bolts in rapid succession. Sophia's stick became a whirling shield, each strike precisely angled to redirect the superheated plasma away from her body. She advanced, closing the distance with methodical precision. Vexter leaned forward in his observation platform, all 4 arms gripping the rail. The drone, detecting the failure of ranged attacks, deployed its close combat but Sophia had already studied its patterns, its timing, the infinitesimal lag between decision and action. The wooden stick cracked against the drone's sensor array with surgical precision. Before it could compensate, she struck 3 more times, each blow targeting critical joints and power conduits that she'd memorized from technical manuals during her sleepless nights of study. The drone clattered to the ground. Disabled. Sophia stood in the center of the arena, breathing hard, the wooden stick held loosely at her side. Not a single plasma bolt had touched her for a long moment. No one moved. Then Jacobs's skin erupted in brilliant patterns of blue and gold, the Meridian expression of profound respect. Slowly, others joined. Even the Crithians, proud warriors who rarely acknowledged other species, struck their weapons against their chest plates in salute. Instructor Vexter descended from his platform. His third eye remained fixed on Sophia as he approached. "Explain," he demanded, though his tone had shifted to something approaching curiosity. Sophia met his gaze steadily. "Plasma weapons are powerful, but they follow predictable The stick is wood from Earth. It doesn't conduct energy the same way as your modern materials. The plasma disperses on impact rather than penetrating. Add in human reaction time, pattern recognition, and the fact that we evolved hunting prey and avoiding predators for millions of years." She shrugged. "Sometimes the oldest tools work because they solve problems in ways new technology has forgotten." Vexter studied the wooden stick, then looked back at Sophia. Your species spent millennia perfecting combat with primitive weapons before you reached the stars. Yes, sir. And you believe this gives humans an advantage? Sophia considered the question. Around her, cadets from across the galaxy watched and waited. I believe, she said carefully, that humans learned to turn everything into a weapon because we had to. We weren't the strongest or the fastest. We didn't have scales or claws or natural armor. We had endurance, adaptability, and the stubbornness to keep fighting even when the odds were impossible. She looked down at the stick. This piece of wood represents 10,000 generations of humans who refused to give up, who found ways to win when they shouldn't have. Vexter's scales rippled the equivalent of a human smile. Tomorrow, he announced to the assembled cadets, we begin a new training module. You will each select a primitive weapon from your species history. You will master it alongside your plasma rifles and ion cannons. He turned back to Sophia. Because the human has reminded us of an important lesson, the warrior matters more than the weapon. As the cadets dispersed, Jacobs approached Sophia, his skin patterns dancing with amusement and admiration. You just revolutionized combat training across the entire Galactic Defense Academy with a stick. Sophia grinned, exhaustion and exhilaration mixing in equal measure. Humanity, fuck yeah, from Earth's wooden sticks to the stars. Humans had brought something the galaxy desperately needed, the reminder that intelligence, adaptability, and sheer stubborn determination could overcome any technological advantage. And in the annals of the Galactic Defense Academy, they would remember the day a human cadet with a primitive weapon taught the galaxy's finest warriors what it truly meant to fight. The wooden stick, Sophia decided, as she left the arena, she would keep